Welcome back. Well, I've got something to show you. I just acquired this black case right here. You can see it says Walther on it, but on the end you can see a different name. See, it says Colt. This is a pistol that's becoming increasingly popular. It's nothing new. It's been around for probably 10 years or so. But this is a Walther produced gun under license by Colt, and as you can see, it's a 1911 rail gun. You're probably a little bit curious why I'm getting a rail gun. That's not my typical yearning. Well, first of all, I've seen the government model for many years, and I don't know, it just didn't warm my heart. You know, the white lettering on the outside of the black frame. I don't know. It just although it was the same gun in all respects, in most respects, the looks just didn't appeal to me. But this one here, this has all the looks of a serious, as you can see, military design. It's got the extended beaver tail and the black grips and the flat dark earth. No, this isn't for flat earth people. This is a flat dark earth. It's a sand color naturally. And it's got the Novak style sights. I'm going to say they're not Novak sights. Novak marks their sights, but it's a Novak style low configuration, snag free. And they have the 3-dot configuration, which is really nice. In all regards, this is a substantial gun. This feels exactly like a 1911 because it is a 1911. It's a 1911 chambered and .22 long rifle. Its weight is just a little bit more than 4 ounces lighter than a standard 45 auto by my own scale, and that's naturally due to the fact that it's an alloy frame gun. But don't let that fool you. This is a very substantial heavy gun, and it's no rattles to that at all. It's a very, very nicely made piece, and the detailing on it is, I think the detailing is really nice. I mean, you get the black trigger, the black magazine release button, the slide stop lever is black, hammer is black. Everything about it is just a nice gun. So what am I going to do with this rail? Well, actually, you know, in most cases, I couldn't care less about a rail on a gun like this because I'm all about open sights. That's just the way I am. I've always shot very well with open sights. That's how I taught people for years. That's how I competed, and so I have no use whatsoever. I have no need whatsoever to add additional weight and bulk to a pistol. And but the rail is actually quite practical for the state of New Hampshire, and at least in 3 of the states in New England, Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont permit the use of pistols for night hunting of critters such as coyotes and raccoons. Many states throughout the country are that way. So for night hunting for critters like that, where especially .22, most of the states that permit night hunting for vermin restricted to the use of .22 caliber, and so this gun is made just for that. It's ideal for that situation. So I think it's not only a cool looking gun, but it does have some practical application for me. Now, it's got a nice stainless steel magazine. This is a 12 rounder. This is made in a 10-round configuration. It's not just the magazine. The pistol itself is designed for the 10 rounds for those states that limit you to that capacity. But it's a stainless magazine with a very firm, very solid It looks like it's some sort of plastic fiber, glass fiber floor plate, and we'll talk more about that when I show you the gun in takedown form. Everything about it is nice, really nice. The slide comes back very, very easily because naturally it's got a much lighter recoil spring. Has a solid feel when you let that slide home. But let's take it to the range. No, I'm not going out today. It's only in the 20s, but because it's a 22, I've got a nice 50-foot indoor range here, and we're going to put it through its paces. I'm not only going to test it with some ammo. I'm going to test it with 13 different styles of 22 ammo that I happen to have, thanks to my Patreon donors, and I'm also going to, because we're indoors and I can do it, I've got the setup so I can chronograph it and just see what this does. I'll be interested to see myself. So let's step over the range and do this together. Well, friends, that was yesterday. I wasn't going to bore you with 13 different tests here. That's what I fired yesterday. I'll run down quickly what I tried out. The Federal 800 bulk pack, an old 25-year-old value pack of 525 Federal Champions. I've got CCI segmented 22s, 32 grain. Mini Mag by CCI. These are 40 grain bullets. They have a 36 and a 40, so I generally prefer the 40s when I can get them. And Blazers, I've got CCI Blazers that are 40 grain bullets also. The reason I've got the magazines on top is because those are the ones that excelled above all of them. The CCI standard velocity, not bad, but again, you know, when you're talking about a gun like this, most of the time you're talking about either going hunting or, you know, plinking at things at distant ranges and things like that. So you want to have a higher velocity, but certainly the standard velocity is a good one for just informal plinking, and it can be sometimes less money, being an unplated bullet. Winchester Super X Hyperspeed. These are 1435 feet per second out of a rifle. Quite fast out of this gun too, but not certainly about 200 feet per second slower, which is what you'd expect. Wolf. This is the more recent vintage Wolf that has been made, I believe, by Ely, since they acquired it from a German resource. The German stuff was a much better performer, but they're still not bad. The SK flat nose, these have been quietly taken out of production. I fortunately got a couple of bricks of these because in my CZ these are by far the most accurate most accurate performer I've ever shot. I mean, these are into a nickel size group at 100 yards with my CZ. Dime size is 60 yards. And I believe the reason they were taken off because I think they were probably infringing on patent violations, patent of the flat point bullet that Ely makes. Now, we've got some Ely high velocity hollow points, Ely target, and Winchester Super X 40 grain. There was 1,280 feet per second out of a rifle, and I just dropped the box of Winchester T22s, which are Winchester T22s. To me, they were one of the most accurate rounds ever made up until several years ago. I don't think they're what they used to produce back in the 70s and 80s, but it performed pretty good out of this gun. Every one of these will strike an apple at 50 feet. Every one of them will strike a cantaloupe at 25 yards. This is a great shooting gun. It's fun to shoot. The trigger pull on it is fabulous. It's 3.5 pounds consistently. Very nice trigger. Everything about it handles well. It's a very fast shooter, very quick shooter because it's got a wide rear sight, which is quick acquisition. While some people might not like the idea that it gives you a broad white space between your on both sides of your front sight, you know, you can always tell where the middle is. You know, just like you can look at a picture and you know when it's not level. You know, you can always tell where that sight is in the middle. And for myself, I like that quick acquisition for a field gun, for something that I want to go out and plink at things in the woods or go hunting. And it's got the three dot configuration, but they all perform great. But these three stood out as being the best performers. There were better performers than the segmented, but I'm gonna put those in my list because the segmented were the screamers. Those were a little bit faster than the Super X Hyper Velocity, and they're a 32 grain bullet. They seem to be a little bit quicker out of the gate, and for the extra velocity that you get, and usually the availability of CCI is sometimes better than the others. So let's stop the mumbo jumbo, and I'm going to jump right into it with the first one here. Is the CCI segmented. Put my hearing protection on and make sure my chronograph is set up and ready to go with the correct ammo. And by the way, this has got this slide has got the serrations up front, so you can rack it. You can rack it nicely that way, or traditionally, whichever way you want to use it. It's a slick gun. CCI segmented.
$1,235. $1,239. $1,223. $1,231. $1,178. $1,244. $1,234. $1,237. $1,213. $1,265.
Let me change this up to the next one is the mini mag before I forget that. And I'm going to go down and change targets, and I'm going to explain something about those targets. Okay, what I'm using is a facsimile of an NRA B3 target, Bravo 3. When I say it's a facsimile, this is not correct to scale. A normal B3 timed and rapid fire pistol target has a black bullseye which would come to where my fingertips are. In other words, a full inch and a 16th, almost an inch and an eighth bigger than this bullseye. It would be the size, approximately the size of the 8 ring, not the 9 ring like it is on this piece of paper here. And you know, for one thing, I'd be violating copyright laws if I were to print out my own B3 targets. But what I did was I printed out a facsimile from online, just images online, onto target paper, because I ran out of tag board B3 targets a while ago. and the next shipment's not going to be in until probably toward the end of this month. But let me explain what I'm doing here. You'll see that these shots are all grouped right here below the bullseye, and 3 of them are in the bullseye at the 6 o'clock position. That's because, for the sake of precision, I'm using the traditional bullseye shooting holding technique of holding at 6 o'clock on the bullseye. In other words, with the bullseye tangent to sitting on top of the rear and front sight. That provides the best clarity of the front sight against the white paper without having it obscured with the confusing with the black. And because it's tangent, a tangent circle against a flat line, remember, is about as precise as you can get. It's like the sun sitting on the horizon. It's, you know, you can get ambiguity in your vision when you're holding center of mass. Now, combat and field pistol sights are typically sighted in or regulated from the factory for center of mass hold, and that's fully correct for field shooting, for shooting at pine cones, for bottles or anything like that. You want to have a sight where you don't have to be concerned about the height of the strike from your sights. So a center of mass hold is absolutely the way to go if you're shooting at bowling pins and things like that. But when you're shooting at or steel plates, but when you're shooting at a bullseye for precision, the most precise way is the way virtually all bullseye target shooters have done through the years, with very few exceptions, to hold a tangent hold at 6 o'clock. And because this pistol shoots correctly to center of mass, when I'm holding at 6 o'clock, you'll see that they're striking just about exactly where the bullseye would be. So if that bullseye was superimposed over those holes, every one of them would be, from what I can see, I mean, there'd be a couple of maybe three nines. The rest of them would be 10 and X. So this is the Ely high velocity, and this is one of the ones that I culled out because it wasn't as good as the others. So I selected those 3 there that I'm testing. So let me continue on, and now we move on to the CCI mini mags. And I'm shooting 10 shots out of this 12-round magazine. This is the 12-round model. This comes in a 12 and a 10. That 10 is typical for most 22s through the years. Now you have some, double-stacked magazines and things like that provide up to 20 rounds and more. But, the 12-round magazine is quite a ample capacity compared to many of the pistols out there, like the Rugers and the Brownings, all that. So here we go.
$997. $977. $1,052. $1,041. $1,037. $1,049. $1,032. 1046. 1051. 1042.
I have to wait until she speaks up because if I can fire as fast as I want and it'll keep up with me. But the problem is if there happens to be an identical velocity shot to the one prior, it won't record it. It'll just skip over it because I'm not allowing it to keep up with me. So let's change this over to the next one, which is the CCI Blazer. I think these are a bargain ammo. So see how they do. And my chronograph screen has got the infrared bonnet over it so that I can shoot indoors. It's got an infrared light that you can't see. You can just see there's a red light on each side as an indicator light to let you know that it's on, but you can't see the actual thing lit up. But the sky screen does. So we're moving on to the Blazers now. This will finish it up.
$984. 995. 1026. 1019. 1017. 978. 1017. 994. 1007. 1040.
Well, that's it. I'll go down and get that last target. So let's run down the tally here and see just what we did. Now, the CCI segmented had an average velocity of 1229 feet per second. Extreme spread of 87 feet per second. That's probably about typical for most 22s. Standard deviation of 22. And its performance was, I think, remarkable. As you can see, these print a little higher than that 6 o'clock position. I would say that, let me look and see what the velocities were here. Yeah, we had two of these shots. This one here, you can see that was came out at 1178, which was way below the 1229 average, and the low average was 1208. So that was 1178, and that's that one there. There's another one here that's 1213. It's right at the bottom of the average bar, and I've got two lower hits on the paper down here. That would certainly account for those. But as you can see, these printed rather high on the paper. If I were taking this gun hunting, this is the ammo that I take with me, no question about it. The velocity is right up there. When you have that kind of velocity out of a handgun, you're talking about the same kind of velocities you get out of much of the rifle ammo on the market. So it would make a superb hunting round, especially for if you were shooting larger vermin, woodchucks and things like that, or even cottontails, rabbits, hare. That'd be a great round. What else do I have to say about it? It's I guess that was it. Moving on to the next one, we've got the mini mags. The mini mags had a. These are terrific. I mean, I can't think of any gun that I've ever owned that didn't like mini mags. This is just great ammunition. Mini mags are just usually I find them even more accurate than the standard velocity out of most guns. Of course, standard velocity ammo, as I've said before, it doesn't drop back down below the sound barrier at longer ranges. So so you don't have that sudden erratic flight where the bullet is struck by its own wake sound wave. So, but for hunting, what do we got for average of all shots? 1032. Now 1032 is more than sufficient for squirrels. This is a terrific squirrel round, and as you can see, I was holding tangent to the bullseye at the bottom. If I were holding dead center, every single one of those would be a 10. Every one of them would be a 10, and so that's a terrific ammunition. The blazers really surprised me. Let me go to the blazers here. This is. I always thought blazers were kind of the bottom draw stuff. But here's ammo that's not very far behind the mini mag when it comes to grouping. You got a bobbled round down the bottom here, and there might be something that accounts for that. Let me just see. We've got a average of all shots of 1,007 feet per second, extreme spread of 62. That's pretty high. A standard deviation of 19, and you can see we've got a very high one here. This is at 1040. You can see on that screen there, that's 1040. That's much higher than the average of 1007. And I've got one down here which is 978. That would certainly account for one of the ones at that bottom one there. And I've got another one here that's 984. That could also be one of those lower ones. But aside from that, for bargain ammunition, that's pretty neat performance. I wouldn't hesitate to take that rabbit hunting, not at all. But you can see how this gun performs. I'm not going to show you all the targets that I shot yesterday, but they weren't much different than these here than the blazers. I mean, they all shot extremely well. I think you can buy any ammunition that you want with this gun, and you'll be happy with it. One thing I do like with this, that was supplied with this gun, is this handy dandy little loading device here. It pulls down on that pesky little knob that, to try to hold that with your fingers. After a while, if you're shooting a lot, your finger gets numb. You don't need that, and it's a little hard to hold. This makes it really nice. You can just slide that down on top, and beautiful. What else can I say about the gun? Nothing today. On a later date, what I'll do is break this down and show you how the inner workings how it dismantles and comes apart. But that's enough for today. We covered all that we needed to do about how this handles. Murphy doesn't mind. Murphy doesn't mind the gunplay. I'm down here, and the target is literally underneath his bed. He likes to go out in the morning early. Whether we like it or not, he hears the grandfather clock count 7, and that's when he starts rustling around in his crate, and he wants to go out. So we always bring him out in the morning, and we have our breakfast and whatever, and he gets some playtime, and a couple of hours later he's ready to take a nap again. So this is all because I'm sure because he's growing, and he's just tired because he's growing. That's all. So anyway, but he's doing absolutely great. I don't know what he weighs right now. He's probably over 25 pounds, but he's doing super. And I'm healing up. He's no longer nibbling on us like he used to do all the time. So for my Patreon donors, those of you who have helped out so much of this ammo was purchased with your assistance that I would not have been able to do by myself. So I thank you for that, and for all your encouragement for me to keep going with this, with these videos. I'm going to try to update things a little bit, maybe bring you up to date with some of the things that are kind of old. But give me a thumbs up if you like this stuff. Give me a thumbs up, and hit the subscribe button and the bell so you can be alerted when I'm around. Thanks for watching. God bless.
I'm just freezing now. Let me get on this. Oh, come on. Wanna get in the car? Come on. Andrew, what box?